So the real reason to why you should be on a team is...
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets Show. Today we've got Anna Abadan-Marco with us, and she's been in real estate for 10 years. She's a top agent and team in Chester County, Philly. She's been an icon agent with EXP for 3 years, and also the top half of the 1% nationally in volume and home sales for the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And since joining EXP 3 years ago, has also built an organization of over 220 people. Today, we're going to be diving into attracting agents, building a business by referrals, and the pre-listing process. Anna, thank you for coming on the show with us today. We were just talking off air. Anna's really going to dive into this whole podcast world, Clubhouse world. So be on the lookout if you're wanting some top information from a top real estate agent. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm definitely a newbie to the podcast world, but it's quite interesting, especially after spending the last year on Clubhouse, which came at a time that John and I became empty nesters and COVID and freezing cold. And then I found Clubhouse and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And so, met a lot of wonderful realtors across the countries actually. And everyone keeps talking about podcast, and I'm a little ADD. I just kind of stay in my lane and do my thing. But if I hear it enough times, eventually it's like, okay, let's do this.
It's like the rule of three, right? If something shows up in a short period of time, 3 times, it's like you can't fucking ignore it. You got to start paying attention to it. Yeah. So Andrew and I, we laugh about this all the time because we were like, podcasts, we were hearing it over and over again. We're like, okay, all right. We're going to double down. We're going to see it. Then Clubhouse came out, just like you're saying. You got to hear it. But it's okay. Low tech, high check. Sometimes, the rule of adaptation or the curve of adaptation of whatever that looks like is pretty freaking cool.
The thing is with the tech, though, right? It's like you've also got to know when to not absorb them all. Because like we heard about Clubhouse and it's like all this, and it's like, oh, TikTok and all this stuff. And we're like, we're just going to do our podcast and we're just going to be a really good podcast. And this is all we focus on. Like, this is our thing. Like, we don't do all these others. It's like, what do we do? And it's like, we sell homes, we help people sell homes, and we run like a global podcast that helps real estate agents all over. And they're our things. And we don't now migrate to like, hey, do you want to, go big on Instagram? It's like, no, we are a podcast, our content. So, with that being said, the way we like to start every single show is to take us back 10 years. You got into real estate. Why? Oh. Why did you make such a poor choice?
More so, even more so, really, when I think about it, what was I thinking? Because we had just moved here. And I'm originally from New York. We made a pit stop in New Jersey. My husband's company...
We're in Jersey.
Monmouth County in Marlborough.
I know exactly where it is. I used to live in Burlington County, about an hour and a half south of you.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So he works in Parsippany. We lived in Marlborough. We moved to New Jersey a year after we got married. Figured the whole suburbs thing. Now, also being Italian American, you generally get married and live with your parents, or you live upstairs from your parents. I would have done that had my mom had passed away when I was 18. So next in line was my sister. She lived in Hazlitt, which was like the next town over in Monmouth County. And so we went that way. We're like, okay, let's go to Jersey and start a family and what have you. Did that for about 15 years. I was a stay-at-home mom for 9 years, and then I got back into work. So prior to being home with the kids, I was a loan officer. So I started there at a very young age, 19 actually. I was 19 years old when I became a loan officer, which is also unusual. Was going to actually become a kindergarten teacher. So I was in school to be a teacher, which at the time I didn't have kids. So I actually thought that would be a great idea until I had my own. And then I realized I would have not been cut out for that. We saved the world by not allowing me to become a teacher. But I was working at a local mortgage company in my town and went to community college. And because again, my mom had just passed and had responsibilities at home. And so long story short, one of the top loan officers got fired for some unscrupulous behavior. And they looked at me and said, how would you like to become a loan officer? Right? Because you're involved in these transactions. The clients love you and what have you. And so I did. And so that's where it began, really. Then we moved to New Jersey, had a couple of kids. When the little one, Michael, went off to first grade, I figured, it's not really fun being a stay-at-home mom when they're not home. And so wanted to re-enter, which was interesting because I worked for a HUD housing counseling agency at a time after the big, real estate burst and all that went on and transpired. And so it was my redemption period. It was when I got to help people and educate them and assist with loan modifications and the home affordable refinance program and budgeting and all that good stuff, right? So then we get relocated here for my husband's job. And I thought, Pennsylvania, like, what am I going to do there? Quite honestly, ignorance, because I came to Pennsylvania once prior to having moved here, and we visited Dutch Wonderland. So I just thought you were all Amish, and not. That's in Lancaster County. I'm in Chester County. I was like, this is cool. You've got Wawas and Target and Starbucks and all the normal USA, America, suburb type of living. So it looked like anywhere else USA. And I thought, all right, we can do this. And then began why real estate? Well, I didn't know my way around, needed GPS to get to my kids' school, did not know a soul here, like literally did not know one person. I knew the realtor that sold us our house, right? And I figured, doesn't look so hard. And people always told me I would be great at real estate, but certainly I should know where I am and what I'm selling. So the first 6 months, I actually, I don't know how I got her to hire me as an admin, because, if you know the disc profile, you know that I would not be a good admin. But being that I'm a 99 on my I and a 98 on my D, I think that also serves as to be quite persuasive. And so she agreed to hire me. And during that time, I got my license and I learned a little bit of the back end and the area. And I figured, well, I guess I can do this. So I will say my spiel was from the beginning. I would tell my clients, I'm not from around here. It was very obvious that I wasn't, so we couldn't really hide that, right? And so
address
I
the
said,
elephant in the room, might as well. Just honesty at its finest.
It's the thick Brooklyn accent was coming through, and they went, I'm not sure if you can tell I'm not local, and they went, what did you say? And you're like,
right. Yeah. And I don't even know if I still mispronounce it, but even the way I would say Lancaster, is it Lancaster or Lancaster?
Lancaster.
Whatever it was, however I said it, that was like immediate. And then, of course, water and coffee. But I think I say it right sometimes. I don't even know the right pronunciation anymore. It just,
it doesn't matter with the amount of homes you're selling. Who gives a fuck?
Who cares, right? For sure. And English is actually my second language. Italian is my first. So between that and the accent, and it was quite evident that I was not from around here. So why?
You would have never known.
Right. but why? That whole fake it till you make it. I'm not a believer of that. I think transparency is way more valuable, and something, authenticity, integrity. These are things that are lacking in our industry as well as others. Any sales industry, I think they kind of take a backseat to importance. And to me, I think it's everything, right? My reputation, Trust, relationship is everything to me. So what I would say to clients is, I'm geographically challenged. Don't follow me, I'll follow you. And those darn lock boxes, oh my gosh, especially the ones that look like the ones we used in high school. Well, not you guys maybe, but when I was in high school, the left M, right R, turn all the way. It's like, those drove me crazy in high school. They would give me anxiety at the locker. I certainly couldn't stand them at the door. I was like, you might have to actually open this door. But once inside, that's where my value proposition is, right? No one is going to negotiate better than I will for you. No one's going to understand the process, guide you, and protect you throughout this process better than I can. And, that honesty was, I think, very appreciated by the average consumer today. And it's interesting because that first person who hired me, she was one of the owners at the first brokerage I was with. And she said, you're going to have to join a team. You're not from around here. No one's going to hire you. And I remember smirking. I would like to say smiling, but I'm sure I was smirking and thinking to myself, like, okay, you don't know me, but honestly, don't tell a Brooklyn girl what she can't do, right? Because now I'm just going to have to prove it to you that I can, right? So why real estate? There's your answer. Why not, right? Like,
to prove a point. You did it to prove a point, and now you became very, very good at it. One of the funny things of what you've done, kind of, I guess, unwittingly, is like, it's actually a psychological trigger where it's like, if you tell people like bad stuff and then you kind of finish on good stuff, where it's like, okay, language, I'm a Brooklyn girl, it's thick. Like, I'm also challenged, with regards to location, you're going to have to help me there. But like, I'll be a fucking boss realtor for you. And through this whole process, it's going to feel amazing because you've been honest on the first 2 points, which are technically negative. And then, so the third point makes it hyper believable because it's like, she's already told me the bad shit. So then the third point, it's not going to be a lie because it sounds like bizarre. And there's actually like psychology studies around doing that to people. It makes your truth far more believable. There's kind of this funny story, where it's like a guy was like, I live at home with my parents, I'm broke, I'm doing all this. He goes, but I am amazing in bed. And this is his story. And it's like, well, what do you think people believe? I've already told them I live at home and I'm broke and all this other shit. But and he's like, I leave it to last. And it's kind of a funny story, but it drives home the point where it's like that last point is exponentially more believable. So what I want to do as well, 10 years, walk us through the first year. How many deals did you do up until 2021? How many deals?
Sure. 12 transactions in my first year as an independent agent, still learning the area. But then I tripled to 36 transactions in my second year.
Wow.
By hiring a business coach, not a real estate coach, and investing in myself. I'm not a gambler. I've been to Vegas 5 times unwillingly, but whether it was a seminar or some real estate reason why I had to be there, didn't want to, and would never gamble. It just isn't my thing, but I'll gamble on me for sure. Like, I think I'm a good bet. And so I made slightly under 100,000 in my first year. And with business coaching, it was understood where the pain points were, which were working weekends. I was still, coming out of being a stay-at-home mom, and Sunday dinners and church and all that was a thing for us. And the kids were that much younger and they were still cute and didn't talk back as much. So I did want to be home, right? And so recognizing that the schedule was not working for me, but I think I can figure this out with some leverage. And so I hired my first admin, full-time admin. And at first it seemed overwhelming because his salary was $50,000 a year. But the way it was explained by my business coach is, okay, so let's break that down, right? And the 30, 60, 90 rule. And you'll know for certain, you'll know in 30 days, right? But by 90 days, you've got some data, within 6 months for sure. This is do it or don't. But it's not 50,000, right? It's 25,000 to know if it's going to be a great return on your investment. And so it was, right? Because I made 323 or 330, something in the 300,000 range in my second year. And year over year, it has just increased. There was a year I plateaued, but never a year that I did less than. And last year, made 7 figures. And I don't know how I got here, honestly. Really, because I've also at this point, so in the last 5 years, I've only worked with sellers, right? So last year I did about 50 listings, off market and on, because I also do investments and I work with a lot of investors and I come across many opportunities with the off market. Nonetheless, my focus was, all right, I'll do 50 listings. I have a small team. All my buy sides go to my team. I have a seasoned agent. I have 3 actually. One's out of being a newbie. So let's say 2 seasoned agents and 2 newer agents that are in training. We do an apprenticeship program. And so all my buy sides go to them so I can focus on the listing side. And my feeling was, or how I built my business was, look, I can do 50 listings with one agent, really, like all the, the real relationship business will stay within the team. The rest I can refer out to whomever, and a full-time admin, right? I don't need a team. I actually had a team of 11 or 12 that I dismantled actually pre-COVID, did not have the foresight. I always say I'm dumb as a fox. I'm not that smart. Things just work out. I think it's more gut than anything else. It wasn't working for me. I felt like I was running a daycare center. And I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. And so I dismantled it and just brought back the ones that I thought, I wanted to invest in and grow them as agents. And so, but the point is that even without them doing 50 listings a year at an average price point of about 500,000, do the math. It's not a bad, income.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a couple of quid, or it's a couple of bucks in your pocket. I tell you that for nothing. So one of the things, me and Peter are totally on board with you with regards, like, we would rather have a small team that hits like a rhino than have so basically you would rather have like one elephant, one rhino, rather than like a load of kittens. Because like, if you ever tried fucking herding cats, like, good luck. But like, you can herd one rhino because what you do is you kind of get them, point them and shoot. And it's like, go and run that thing over, and they just like, okay, like, bulldoze it, and they're gone, and they're really good at their job, which is exactly what we're like. We'd rather have, let's have a small team. You can also, here's the other advantage that everyone who's listening, you might not have thought of. When you've got a small team, you can give good people more leads, and that makes them happier, rather than having a more distributed team, giving each one lead, and then it doesn't convert and they get pissed off and they leave for another team. One of the other advantages is actually you can give those agents a lot more business, and that makes them happier, and they don't leave, which ultimately makes you happier, and it gives you less work, higher levels of trust. Like, these are all things that people don't think about enough, where it's like, you want to build long term, find good people and invest in them. That's how you build.
I'm glad you said that, because I will share. So Stacey Morrison has been on my team for over 5 years now, longest standing agent. I'm a little much, so you could imagine, you love me or hate me. There's no in between. You're going to hate me hard or you're going to love me hard, right? But there is no in between with me, right? And so you have to be a certain caliber. You really have to be some person of a level of great integrity and ability to shoot it straight and speak to me directly and not have fear around what you did or didn't do right. And that's Stacey Morrison for sure. And that was the awareness when I dismantled my team, when I looked at the production of the other agents. And I actually had that conversation with Stacey because she was the first to know that I was going to do this. I said, Stacey, look at these transactions that this one and this one and this one and this one did. Those should have been yours, right? Look at the business we lost because of their inability to serve the client and put the client's needs first the way you do, right? So that was my awareness when I did it in January 2020 or 2019. I'm terrible with time, but either which one, a couple of years now, where we went small, and in doing so, and I thought I'm going to take a hit financially and I don't care, right? Because it wasn't worth the aggravation. Yet I wound up the last 2 years having, again, better than it's been, and the best years of production and income.
Yeah. And I guarantee you personally are a shitload happier.
Oh,
guaranteed. I bet
you're not running a glorified daycare center, right?
Don't even know. And I will say, I don't know if we're going to get into the EXP model and how that works, but
let's dive right in, because your first topic is about agent attraction through community service and advocacy. So let's dive right into it.
Sure. So when I think of some of the agents that joined under me, but not on my team, I truly see them as my partners. And again, knowing the disc profile, and when I meet with some of these agents, and some of them have desires to be on my team, I'm like, you don't want to be on my team. You just want to be in proximity of. You want to learn a couple of things. You want to know a few things. You want to know some tricks and trades, some secrets, if you will, some how-tos. But at the end of the day, why on earth would you want to be beholden to me? Why would you want to share your commission, right, your salary with me? Once you've learned those things, what is it exactly that you need? What are you lacking, right? You want camaraderie, you want collaboration, right? You want to educate, you want training. Sure, we've got all that. One agent in particular that I'm thinking of, he came from a team, and I think he was quite nervous to go independent. Well, we looked at his last year's production, and it was recognized that, I don't remember exactly the numbers now, but let's say he did about 12 transactions, of which 7 were Zillow leads, of which were low price point, within an hour of where he lives and serves, chasing his tail, right? Low commission. And then there were 3 or 4 that were his own personal sphere. But on the team, he still got half or something, whatever, that amount was. And he wasn't allowed on that team to take listings, which I think is so short-sighted for team leaders who run their business that way. But, I guess it works for them. Nonetheless, the point is, what I explained to him is, look, if you'd only done those 4 transactions versus the 12 or 13 or whatever it was, and under this model, you would have made more money. You wouldn't have ran around. You'd had more time with your family. You would have made more money only servicing your sphere. And how much more time do you think you would have had to make more business of your own? So even if you did 5 or 6 transactions, but you did the work that you wanted to do and made more money, why are you on a team, right? So the real reason to why you should be on a team is there's got to be a great give and take. There's got to be a mutual understanding. And as a seasoned agent, you can't be on those ridiculous splits that some of the traditional teams have, right? Because the good people will leave you, and that's just ridiculous. You want them there, they want to be there, make it work, figure out a plan that makes sense. So these frontline agents, if you will, right, the agents that I personally brought over to EXP, I consider them my partners. And we have our own masterminds outside of the trainings that go on within the brokerage, and I refer business to them, right? I'll go on listing appointments with them. I'll do whatever it takes to help them grow their business, because together we win. And this is the only model that I know of where I'm actually encouraged to share and collaborate and grow and train. And hey, the happier you are and the more people you bring and the more business you do, we win and grow together.
100%. It's exactly the same reason.
Are you also finding that a lot of those partners are local, or are they kind of everywhere?
From here to California,
but
primarily local, because I did not focus on agent attraction at all. So my ADD kicked in when I was planning on leaving. So I started at KW, was there 3 years. And even though I was at 100% and making title share and what have you, there was something missing. And so I looked elsewhere, and I thought, well, this place over here, Berkshire, I don't know, I guess you get what you pay for. It's more expensive, but maybe that's where the cool kids hang out. And by cool, I mean like the more experienced or whatever. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? It was just, I was that early on in the industry and in the business, only to find out that no, it's not worth paying. I was paying close to $100,000 a year to hang my license there. I know.
It's mental. I mean, Here's one of the biggest misconceptions. By the way, like the reason me and Peter joined EXP as well is for very similar reasons to you, and like servicing our partners, people who we want to help grow. A lot of people think EXP is just like this big recruiting model, when actually every business, not even just forget about real estate, even businesses, they're all what everyone's called in the pyramid scheme. It's like, okay, who owns a KW? Well, obviously KW. And then who is it? Well, someone owns the market center. And then you got the broker, and then you got the team leader, and then there's you. And it's like, just draw that out. You are like 6 levels down. So with, what we do here, you just get paid straight from EXP. And that's the difference. Now,
and how many out of the 75,000, by the way, do you know how many EXP agents actually attract?
It's less than 5%, isn't it? It's less.
So at EXPCon, they actually shared that info. It was 12%, which I still thought was really low. Think about that. 75, or I think now we're up to 79,000 agents, whatever it is. Let's call it over 70,000. So over 70,000 agents, and only 12% have actually ever recruited another agent.
Well, that's the key point, though, because they're classing recruiting as 1, aren't they? But the average isn't it like 1.7 or 2.3? It's like basically someone in your team, and that's it. Right. So like, there's this amazing business model here. And like you said, it's the only business model out there that I've ever even heard of where you get basically incentivized to help people below you produce. Now, it's like people who don't understand the model, you've got to understand that if, say, I joined Anna's team and I don't sell a home, she ain't getting paid.
Right.
She's incentivized to make me sell homes. It's not to make me help recruit other agents. Like that helps down the line. But like first and foremost, I've got to sell homes. Now it's like, well,
it's glorified accountability that you get paid for now.
Yeah.
Right. The incentive to actually share, where, I moved brokerages initially. So from KW to Berkshire, because I felt it was very closed door at KW, like the top, I was always in the top 7 with teams, and I was an independent agent. And I thought, okay, so these are the guys who are going to we're going to mastermind, right? No,
they don't.
We don't want to know what I know, right?
100%. This is what, again, another thing people don't. So we know a few very big hitters in KW, like huge players.
Some of our close and personal friends.
And they won. So here's some of the misconceptions. Everyone goes, I want to join because EXP doesn't have an office, which to be fair is now not true because there's basically offices everywhere. It's just personal. You have an office, like we have an office as well. Like it's like we've got offices. But the big thing is everyone's like, well, I'm going to go mastermind with top producers. 2 things. Usually the top producers aren't in the office because they're top producers out selling homes. And the second thing is you're actively their competition because you're literally selling from in the same area to the same people. Yes. Only EXP are people incentivized if you sell in their area to help you sell that home, because if you are under them, they also get paid, like 3% on that deal. So even if it's a few $100 or whatever, it's like, okay, I'm still getting something from it. This is what I think a lot of people have. To be fair, I think there's just a real stigma around the whole thing, and it's through a lack of education because people kind of have their wall up. And listen, the numbers don't lie. What is it? Over 1,000 agents a week are joining or something crazy. Yeah. And it's, it's over 5. I heard this stat. In fact, I think it was yesterday. I didn't even know this. Apparently over 500 a week join without even a sponsor. They join just because of the model.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was like, holy hell. Because when me and Peter saw it, we were like, this is the only place for us to sell real estate through, because like this is building like a real business.
It allows us to be a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
It allows us to be global, more flexible, run things the way we want to run it. You can be a self-organized team, an organized team, a mega team, however you want to structure your business.
Yeah.
There's a place and a play for you to execute on, and allows us to have a deeper sense of collaboration all at the same time.
100%.
We're not affiliated at all. Having a great time talking on a podcast. You're sharing your secrets with us, which we will dive into number 2 and number 3 in a second. And we're all working towards the same goal. So it feels like there's a bigger vision.
Yeah, the collaboration here is ridiculous. It is off the charts, real and authentic. And as a team leader, what really was just so eye-opening for me is wait a minute, I get to actually grow my agents into independence and still be friends right? And they're not like, now I know what I need to know and I don't need to be on the team. Hell, I'm the one telling you that before you even have awareness, right? When we go through our, one-on-one coachings with my agents, I'm actually the one who points out to them, hey, look how many deals you did that were your personal sphere. Look how you did this or that, right? So the first step is to graduate them to a seasoned agent where they're on a better split with the team. And then it's one or two things are going to happen. You're going to stay on the team indefinitely because the value is there. The split that you have, you don't want to manage. You're not a high D. You truly are you're a team player. That's you in your authentic role. That's who you are. And you rather have someone else take the risk, pay the bills, and you get paid, right? And not have to hunt, right? So the lead generating part, like, again, there is that right fit when you find them. But the others, in this environment, I'm happy to grow you. I want you to actually become independent and hell, grow your own team, and I'll show you how, right? That was not an option at other brokerages.
It's the exit strategy, isn't it? Like, that's the other thing. It's the exit strategy in the future. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our courses and coaching 100% free, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.